I don't believe we had context like over distinct holidays or breaks in the district calendar, but otherwise, beginning, I think the 29th, December the 29th of 2020.
That's when she started to live communicate with you.
Yes.
Okay, and were you texting at this point?
I don't recall. Definitely emails, definitely phone calls. I don't recall texting.
Okay, was she calling you on your work phone or some other phone?
I don't have a work phone. I only have my personal cell phone.
Okay, but you have a phone number at work, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm going to point you to the last page of your report to the board. And this is you discussing Dr. Keither's complaints against Dr. Saffold, right?
Yes.
Hang on a second, let me get there.
Of course.
Thanks.
Great. And there's several bullet points there?
Yes.
Okay. And it says, after obtaining and reviewing additional evidence, we can substantiate.
Yes.
Okay. And it says we, but that means you can substantiate, correct?
I can substantiate.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So that on December 8th of 2020, Whistleblower A filed a good faith concern with the Employee Rights Department regarding a now increasingly hostile environment under Dr. Felicia Saffold, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Whistleblower A here, do you know who that is?
That's referring to Dr. Keither.
Okay. Then it goes on to say on December 9th, the Employee Rights Department notified Dr. Saffold of the complaint raised by A. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So again, I want to focus on now, at least at this point here, when you investigated these concerns, so at least on January 21st of 2021, you knew that the ERAD the next day went and told Dr. Keither's immediate supervisor that Dr. Keither had made a complaint against her, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to object to misstates what's written here. Go ahead and answer.
What I recall is that there's a communication that HR sent on that date in which they said a complaint has been raised against you. I don't know if that memo said that it has been raised by Dr. Keither.
Okay, but it does say that Dr. Saffold was notified of the complaint raised by A.
Yes,
correct?
yes, it does say that, yes.
Okay. And so at that point, you knew that the next day that Dr. Saffold was aware of the complaint raised by Dr. Keither.
Objection assumes facts not in the evidence, lacks foundation.
Same. Join.
To be sure, she was notified that the concern raised by Dr. Keither, she was notified of that concern, but I don't believe that communication said in there that it was Dr. Keither who had raised the concern. I know that they were related.
Okay, so you feel there's some ambiguity there between, in your statement, the complaint raised by A. Is that right?
I'm going to object to argumentative and then asked and answered. He's explained what it means.
Yeah, I knew that the letter that was delivered to Dr. Saffold was the result of Dr. Keither raising the complaint.
Great. And the last time we talked, you told me that it's possible when supervisors are notified of complaints that, given the context of the allegations, that they're able to identify who's making those allegations, correct?
Yes, I did say that.
Okay. Do you believe that happened in this case?
Object to speculation.
I do.
Okay. Sir, you're wincing when you say that. Is there a reason why you're wincing?
Because I don't actually have a hard evidence to that point, but it's my inference from the facts and circumstances as a whole.
Okay. Are you afraid of retaliation based on your testimony here today?
I am uncertain what the impact of this testimony will be today.
Okay, do you have a reason to believe it's going to be positive or negative?
I'm gonna check the form.
Argumentative.
I guess it depends on the audience.
Okay, what do you think Dr. Posley is going to react to your testimony here today?
Objection calls for speculation.
Negatively?
Okay, why do you feel that way?
I just don't know how it can be received as flattering.
Okay, but you said everything you said here today is true, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you have reason to believe that you may be retaliated against if your statements here are not flattering to Dr. Posley?
Object to form. Asked and answered. Calls for speculation.
Can you repeat the question?
I'll join the objection.
No, take your time.
So do you have reason to believe that you may be retaliated against if your statements here are not flattering to Dr. Posley?
I don't have any specific reason. I just don't know where this is all gonna land.
You're always like
I just don't know where this is all gonna land.
Oh.
Okay. Well, are you concerned for your continued employment with MPS if Dr. Posley learns of what you've testified here today?
No.
Why not?
I think I've done the right thing.
Okay.
I'm leaning into that.
And based on your experience, does doing the right thing protect people at MPS or something else?
Object to form.
Not always.
Okay, and so for example, did Dr. Keither do the right thing?
I believe so.
Okay, by reporting her complaints to you?
Yes.
Okay, and was that reacted to favorably or negatively based on your understanding?
Objection vague, ambiguous.
Join.
I would say negatively.
Okay. Do you know what a field compliance officer is?
No.
Okay. In the complaint that Dr. Keither filed against Dr. Saffold, do you believe that it was possible for Dr. Saffold to determine, based on the allegations, who made the allegations?
Object asked and answered.
Calls for speculation.
Join that one.
I do.
Why?
Given the temporal proximity.
Okay. So then I'm going to take you to the third bullet point, and it says that subsequent to receiving this December 9th notification, Dr. Saffold repeatedly and in multiple forums raised concerns that whistleblower A was responsible for poor team engagement in CNI, creating tension in CNI, causing the team in CNI to become ineffective. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, is that a true statement?
That's what was recounted to me by Calvin Furman.
Okay. But prior to December 9th, were you aware of any complaints made by Dr. Saffold about Dr. Keither's behavior?
Can you read that back?
Sure. But prior to December 9th, were you aware of any complaints made by Dr. Saffold about Dr. Keither's behavior?
I don't recall.
Okay. But you did investigate these accusations against Dr. Keither extensively, correct?
I investigated the involuntary reassignment. I did not spend a lot of time investigating what was leveled here as an allegation against Dr. Keither.
Okay. Did you investigate the curriculum and instruction, the failure to implement a curriculum for literacy at that time?
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Okay, do you understand that Dr. Saffold accused Dr. Keither of not doing what was necessary to have a literacy program in place at that time?
Check the foundation.
I believe Dr. Keither shared that with me.
Okay. And she also shared with you supporting documents on that issue?
I believe so.
And you investigated that?
I did not investigate that aspect.
Okay. Did you ever form any opinion on that subject during the month of January?
No, I did not.
Okay. Goes on to say that on December 29th, after Dr. Saffold again repeated these concerns to Dr. Posley directed members of his team to take reassignment action against whistleblower A. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And you know that because Mr. Furman told you that Dr. Posley directed him to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we have this statement that says my perspective, right? And you read this out loud, correct?
Yeah, so the points that are raised here, I don't know if I read these words verbatim, but the intent was communicated through my perspective. At this point, it became less of read of a verbatim, and these are my final. What is communicated here was communicated to the board, but maybe not these exact words.
Okay. Did you believe the special assignment was punitive in nature to Dr. Keither?
Did I believe that? Yes.
Okay. And then when it says this special assignment activity, is that referring to the reassignment of Dr. Keither or something else?
Oh, here I'm referring to it more broadly.
Okay. Well, is that referring to the use of special assignments as punishment or something else?
In that lens, but also just more broadly in terms of how special assignments.
What did that mean?
The method by which special assignments are handed out in the district, I don't know. I don't know that I have good clarity on how those are done, and I don't think there's clear policy on how to direct how they should be done. So it was in that context that's what that means.
Okay. To your knowledge, was Marla Brunei ever on a special assignment?
My understanding is that when there was an investigation being done by Ms. Horowitz, that she was, I don't know if special assignment is the right word, but she was not in her regular capacity.
Okay. Which then in that case was a demotion, right?
It was certainly a demotion at the time that she went to the director of remote work.
Okay. Now this is probably the single biggest question I have for you today. You say there's no smoking gun anymore. What does that mean?
What I communicated to the board in that session was that in my time in the organization, what I observed as actors who engage in retaliation towards employees, what I told the board was that in my experience, the organization has gotten smarter, and that the means by which retaliation would take place are harder to discern. And whereas there's no email that says I'm retaliating against this individual, that the retaliation against an individual would not be quote unquote the result or substantiated via a smoking gun, where someone just plainly wrote that they were retaliating against someone.
Okay, but when you said the organization, you specifically meant management, correct?
Yes, it would, only management would have the opportunity to do that.
And you specifically meant Dr. Posley's management, correct?
I'm going to check the form, misstates the testimony.
In this context, I was referring broadly to the organization and the history of the organization.
Well, is this different? Is this behavior different under Dr. Posley than it was under Dr. Driver?
Only in so much, again, as the point where the behaviors that would be retaliatory are just, they're not as obvious. They're done to mask that it is retaliation.
Okay, so is it fair to say that the level of retaliation from Driver to Posley remained the same? It's just that the method of retaliation became more refined.
I don't know. I can't say. I don't know about the first part, but it became more. I would argue that it has become more refined.
And more refined since Miss Driver or Dr. Driver to Dr. Posley, or something else?
Since then, but not. I wouldn't even. I don't know that I can necessarily say it was the result of.
I understand, but this refinement has happened under Dr. Posley's leadership, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you mean by new form of retaliation?
So in this instance, what I was referring to was this special assignment activity.
Okay. But that had been going on previous to this, right?
My recollection here is that I
The
was.
what? I'm sorry?
My recollection
Oh, thank you.
that evening was the. I think. When Dr. Keither was told to clear her office next day, it was a visibility, and it was a what's what I'm looking for here? It was one that I felt was designed to squelch other people from raising their concerns.
Oh, okay. Why?
Based on the involuntary reassignment that then took place.
Was it more public than other involuntary reassignments that you had witnessed before?
I believe so.
Okay. Are people frequently involuntarily reassigned to the position of assistant principal?
I'm gonna object to form of question.